Hey everybody, this is Flammy. Welcome back. I have got something pretty special. We're here with another subscriber-based review, and we have got Town Hall 10. Alright guys, so Town Hall 10 is finally here. Getting a little bit of time to let some of you guys upgrade, and we're here to do my first subscriber-based review at Town Hall 10. Now, if you would like to be in a future subscriber-based review video, this is what you should do. Follow the instructions at the end of this video, which involve checking out my Facebook and Twitter and waiting for the messages I post on there when I will be accepting applications. I will direct you to the right spot. Alright, let's jump right at it with our first Town Hall 10 base. And man, is it a good one to start at. We have a level 97 OuttaBatteries. So OuttaBatteries is part of one of the top clans, Quantum Alliance. It is part of the Quantum clan group. And I think they're currently third on the total leaderboards, but of course that changes as time goes on, clans go up and down. So what is going on right here in this base? So very maxed out. Let me see how maxed out. Okay, I don't actually see anything that isn't in terms of defenses. The most noticeable thing that's not is going to be both the Archer Queen and the Barbarian King. They're not even at level 30, and level 30 actually their cap just got increased to level 40 with the last update, so those are going to be pretty big. Beyond that, I'm thinking pretty much everything here is maxed out, everything that I'm seeing. I might be missing one or two things, but let's go over the critical things for Town Hall 10s. So, Barbarian King and Archer Queen I talked about. Those are going to be really big. But in terms of the defenses, what do we have? So we've got the crossbows, which are always, you're going to see very centralized in bases. Unlike lower levels who like to centralize mortars, because they're facing lots of individual units, infantry especially, mortars aren't as special because there's not really that many units, so the splash damage isn't as important, it's rather how many times you can do damage and just how much individual damage you can do per second rather than splash to multiple units. Clan Castle is always going to be very, very important. Town Hall is always going to be very, very important, assuming they're not a Town Hall 10 at a very low trophy count, which at this point of the game is pretty rare. Perhaps in the next couple months we'll see more Town Hall 10s who are lower, but I expect everyone will view today will be relatively high in the trophy count, like above 2,000. So yes, beyond that, what is the last important part? Well, I guess there's two of them. One, here's Inferno Tower, and beyond that, they're the Teslas. Now, you can't see them because I'm not in this clan. There's going to be one over here, one right here, and two right here. Teslas are perhaps the most important for Town Hall 10s. Why is that? Might seem sort of unusual. Well, they got great damage per second and great fire rate, so both those are good. However, they also do bonus damage against P.E.K.K.A.s. So P.E.K.K.A.s are, while not the only unit you can use at the top, they're one of the three main strategies. So I'll talk about that in just a minute so you can sort of imagine how this base would work against these sort of things. So strategy number one is P.E.K.K.A. Now you can mix it up with other things like add in a couple wizards, add in wall breakers, but generally P.E.K.K.A. 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 is going to be the main damage dealer. Army type number two is going to be dragons. So you'll often see bases with very centralized air defenses, not in this base, which is very interesting, but you'll notice that both of these crossbows are set to target air. You can tell that by looking at that. The crossbow is pointed up currently. If it is pointed flat, it would be set to ground. Pointing it at air means that it doesn't have as much range, but it means it can help out with dragons if you are attacked with dragons. So I would expect both, most players we'll see today will have both set to air. However, there are some strategy techniques I will talk about if we see one that is not. So what is the third army that I mentioned? Well, I hadn't mentioned yet, but I was going to mention. Well, that's going to be a golem army. So yes, golems. You know, I didn't even look at his own troops in his army camp, so we'll take a look at that in a minute. But yes, golems are the third type, and you mix in high damage dealers with that. Sometimes P.E.K.K.A.s. Sometimes wizards. Wizards have been pretty common lately. So let's go check out his army and see sort of what line he's going down. Alright, so you have one golem, P.E.K.K.A.s, wizards, wall breakers, and archers. The main part about this is going to be the P.E.K.K.A.s. The golem is probably the second most. P.E.K.K.A.s, wizards, and golems are certainly the most three important. The wall breakers are there to help out, and the archers are there to help out too. Archers are really just filling up empty, what otherwise would be empty spots. Well, I guess you could have increased the wizard count. I guess what the archers are going to be good for is picking off free buildings that are in the corners. So, like, if he was attacking his own base, for example, put one archer to deal with that. Put one archer to deal with, say, this army camp. Just stuff that you can get for free, like these barracks you get for free. Just stuff like that, because the range of the defenses doesn't cover them, so you can sneak in here and pick them off. Alright, beyond that, so what is interesting about this base? So, I'm not surprised to see the mortars not centralized, which is why I talked about that initially. Don't expect to see them. I am slightly surprised not to see any air defenses not being in the center. Bit surprised on that part. I am not surprised to see that these resources are towards the outside. This would be fairly common, and in fact, if you view the top players, they really don't care about resources so much that they will literally put their resources outside their walls, because what these resources actually have is a ton of health. This 2,000 health, I mean, you might really not think, like, okay, 2,000, whatever. Well, if you go compare it to other things, so let's compare it to the Town Hall. Town Hall alone has 5,000, just for perspective here. Let's look at defenses. Defense is 600, so 2,000 is like more than triple a mortar. Check out the Inferno Tower. It's barely got a hair under 2,000. This one, bit over 2,000, maxed out at level 4, 2,800. Let's check out cannons and archer towers before we wrap this up. 900 for the cannons. Archer towers, 750. So you can tell that these gold storages and elixir storages, when maxed out at level 11, actually have pretty hefty health counts, which some players take advantage of by keeping them outside the walls. Now, I guess the last thing I'm going to talk about for this base is walls. So walls are interesting in the fact that they have really they're really just a huge gold sink. At this point in the game, level 9 walls are, oh man, I think they're 1 million. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the stats in a while. And then I'm 98% sure that level 10 walls are 3 million. Imagine 3 million gold for every single individual wall you want to upgrade to level 10. Yeah, that's expensive. And you can see why, just because this is very full, might empty very quickly if you're spending it on walls. Alright guys, so that's an interesting sort of overview, and that will sort of give us some perspective as we're moving on to other Town Hall 10s, what to look for. This one is very much set up against P.E.K.K.A.s because of the Teslas, Dragons sort of because of the crossbows, but not super anti-air because you'll notice the anti-airs are rather spread out relatively. Beyond that, alright. Let's head on to the next one. Oh, last thing we're going to check, what does the clan castle have in it? So this would be indicative of sort of what strategy they're doing currently, if there is anything. Alright, a golem, so that's interesting. So they are almost certainly on attack. You would never want to use a golem on defense unless it's trying to draw in, like, infantry or something and distract them, but I don't think that'd even be very good. So yeah, definitely on attack. Alright, let's move on to the next base, guys. Alright, guys, here we are with, Antnee? Yeah, let's go with Antnee. It's sort of like Anthony, but not quite there. Alright, interesting stuff here. So I took a quick glance at this base before I started talking. Alright, so it's not maxed out. However, you'll notice it's actually level 98, which, if you remember, is one higher than our previous base. So, yeah, this is interesting. Yeah, really interesting. So what's not maxed out? Let's start with that. Air defenses are at level 7, not level 8. Did they max out at level 8? I think they maxed out at level 8. I can't really remember for sure, actually. What certainly is not maxed out are these mortars. They're level 6. What about the other mortar? Where's the last one? It's down here at the bottom. Yes, it's not maxed out either. Wizards are both level 5, which is not the level 7 that maxes out. And very low level, although this doesn't attribute to your experience or in-game level, but the heroes are very low level relatively. So level 3 Archer Queen and level 10 Barbarian King. So this actually has a very significant difference. So if you look at this level 10 Barbarian King, if level 10, the green bar is right here, the level 30 or so one we saw before is probably going to be up here. So you can imagine that that is actually a very significant difference. Doubling, say, the damage, doubling the health, and of course increasing the regeneration time as well. All those would play pretty heavily into importance when it comes to defending your base. Now, looking at this, oh yeah, crossbows too. Those are very important. So they're not level 4, they're level 3. Alright, so let's talk about this base and how it's laid out. So, very interesting right off the bat is they do have an Inferno Tower, so that means they certainly are gemming. This is very much expensive, and I believe, well, yeah, I don't think it would be possible to get it for free at this point from just spending. Although maybe it would be possible. Alright, so what I was going to say though. It's interesting because it does not have the normal clan castle in the center. Notice they are up at 2,500 trophies. And their clan castle is all the way out here. So they are 300-ish trophies lower than our previous base. Clan castle is outside. This honestly really shocks me. I'm very surprised to see this. Very surprised. Yeah, so why is this? Clan Castle actually plays a huge role. Okay, nothing in it currently, but doesn't really mean anything. Clan Castle plays a huge role on defense. On offense, it certainly is important. Some players don't use it. Like I know Jorge generally does not use his clan castle when attacking, which is why he's able to stay out of his normal clan and not with any clanmates when he's attacking. Um, but this is really interesting because on defense, what the clan castle does is if it's placed in the center of your base, the circle will be sort of within your outer walls. That means it's pretty much very, very, very hard to draw out your enemy's clan castle guys when you're attacking. That means they just get to do damage and damage and damage, and beyond that, they get to distract your units while your defenses keep doing damage. Both of these are really important and very helpful. And so to not have your town hall or your clan castle in the center is giving up a lot. Something else I'm just noticing really fast is these archer towers are all level 10, so that's not the level 11 they could be maxed out at. Beyond that, I think all the sort of the passive things are pretty much maxed out. Dark Elixir storage is not as high as it could be, but that sort of makes sense. Laboratory is up. Let's check if you're retraining troops. Okay, you're not retraining troops. That's interesting. So yeah, Clan Castle being outside the walls is, I find, very shocking, really. Now, like I said before, it's not surprising to find the storage is not particularly well protected. It's really not about the resources as you get up in the trophy counts. Yeah, I mean, that's all there is to say about it. You just don't protect trophies. You do have an interesting layout inside the base. So you'll notice that it seems like there's a lot of free space in here. So there's a couple options on what actually could be in here. You got Teslas, and you got giant bombs, and you've got various traps. So you got spots here, 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 and here. So somewhere in there you've got giant bombs and Teslas. Generally, you'll find high-level players using giant bombs outside the walls, and I'd say that's a better idea. They won't be hit sort of quite as often, but you don't really want to rely on them being in the center here. They only do like less than 200 damage. I think it's around 180 damage. It's not a ton of damage. I mean, compared to like, look at this Barbarian King's health, for example. It's got 2,000. 180, yeah, sure, one shot's all the infantry, but people don't use infantry at this level to any significant degree. So I find it very interesting you have giant bombs in here. Teslas make complete sense, though. I do expect to see those in the center. The other thing that's interesting is you've got a lot of one-spot-wide gaps in here for what would be spring traps, bombs, air mines, and air-seeking mines. Now, air mines do the splash damage, so those are good against, I guess, anything that's grouped up, multiples, because they do splash damage. Minions especially at lower levels, but you won't really find minions attacking at these sort of town hall and trophy levels. But they are, I guess they're decent. I mean, they're free damage against Mass Dragon, so I guess you'll have them. That's good. But the air mines, the air mines are very important. How so? Well, they can one-shot dragons, or at least the level 3 ones. I'm not sure if they can one-shot the level 4 ones. Haven't seen those in action lately. I guess I'm not super prepared. I don't know all the stats on how they work out at Town Hall 10. I am at Town Hall 8 on both my accounts after all. But yes, take my word for it. Air mines kick ass. They will take on lots of air guys. Which is interesting because you clearly have spots for them in here. And at the same time, you have air defenses, very centralized. But at the same time, you don't have your crossbows set to air. So all these sort of combined, I'm getting like cross messages. I would say having all of your air defenses centralized is a pretty big deterrent against that sort of dragon attack and the dragon aggression. And having air mines in the center, I would say it's be rather effective, assuming the air mines are in the center. I could be mistaking them. They could be in gaps like here and out here and stuff out here. If the air mines are in the center, I would say outside is better because what you're going to want to do is do as much damage as possible to the dragons before they get to the center. Imagine if you one-shot a bunch of dragons before they even enter the air defense's range. That makes a lot more sense than, say, 3 dragons come in right here, right? They destroy, destroy, destroy. They say this guy gets one of them and weakens the other one, then it activates the air mines by the time you get the dragons get in here. Now the air mines go up. What do they do if they focus down the dragon, which is already partially hurt? I mean, that's sort of worthless, and it's wasting free damage that the air mine could be doing to something else, which is why I would say keep him on the outside. Yeah. All right. Beyond that, that was sort of a lot of interesting talk about that. Let's look at balance for other things. Tesla, or the Inferno Tower, not Tesla, is definitely in the center. Makes sense. It is absolutely killer. I didn't really talk about it before, so let's talk about it now. Inferno Tower is very unique. It does between 30 damage per second and 1250 damage per second. This is level 2. Its level maxes out at 2, so this is maxed out. What does this mean, 32, 1250? Well, as it attacks units, the longer it attacks a single unit for, the more damage per second it will be doing. That means if it attacks infantry and goes from one infantry to the next, the next, the next, it'll kill it sort of fast, but it won't be doing very good damage per second, which means it's wasting its time. Versus if it's attacking P.E.K.K.A.s, golems, dragons, that is amazing for the Inferno Tower because their large health means that it can build up its power and just zap them down really fast by comparison to other defenses. So yes, I'm not surprised to see Inferno Tower centralized. Beyond that, we do have walls, and we do have level 8 walls, so cute level 8 walls. These are actually, I have level 8 walls myself when I'm Town Hall 8, so these are not the super uber duper expensive walls, although that's fine. Walls are so expensive that I would absolutely max out all your defenses first. I don't blame you for not doing so, and that I certainly agree with sort of leaving them for later. Something that is interesting, though, is that you'll notice all four of these workers are snoozing right now. So I would guess that this is intentional because you don't want to upgrade any of these defenses, even if you did have the gold. Because upgrading them would weaken them, so they wouldn't be attacking. If you got attacked. So perhaps you are only waiting until you have enough gems to speed them up. The most efficient use of gems is for speeding up upgrades, not buying resources, and yeah, that's really the main other one. Shields, I guess, are sort of a different ball game. But buying resources is inefficient, which is why sort of spending tons of money to upgrade your walls is not very efficient. It takes ridiculous amounts of money, and in exchange, you don't really get a ton for it, relatively. Compared to speeding up your defenses is what players at the top certainly value more. Alright, so that was a lot of talking on this base. I am going slow on these Town Hall level 10s, so let's move on to the next one. And yeah, interesting base here. On to the next one, guys. Alright guys, here we are with our third Town Hall 10 base. We have Dinosaur here, and interesting stuff. This was submitted by his friend, and he just wants general thoughts. I guess that makes sense because he doesn't own the base, so it'd be hard to ask for specific advice, like, you don't know what you're sort of thinking of. Alright, anyways, what are we looking at here? So we have Town Hall 10 once again, but I like this. This is really interesting because you're doing some different things. You're somewhat protecting some resources in some situations, you're upgrading certain buildings, so that means they're inactive, so that's significant. What level is this guy? Oh, level 7, so a bit better. You'll notice this is 107, level 107 account. So what this means is you can really not trust the levels at the top. Here's another one that's upgrading, by the way, I just spotted. The levels at the top will really come from donations rather than anything else. So ongoing donations will be one of the most important factors. Alright, interesting stuff. So right off the bat, I'm sort of curious. So, okay, clan castle on the inside. Good. I like that. That's good. Glad to see that. Gold storage on the center. That's an unusual decision. Elixir storage, also unusual, especially because it's empty. I would guess that's because you just started upgrading the Archer Queen, but I don't know for sure. Let's check the gold storage, and yep, looks like you just probably upgraded walls or one of these defenses to get that going. You are at 2,400 trophies, so that's interesting right there. It's a solid amount, but relatively low to the other Town Hall level 10s that we have seen. Do you have whatchamacallit? I want to call it Magma Tower, but that's not quite it. Whatever that 2x2 tower is, I don't see one. That's very interesting. I expect that you are working on other defenses instead of getting that up. I would definitely recommend getting that up. Even if you can only get to level 1 right away, that is definitely a very good idea. Yeah, so why is that? So, what is more important? To have this Archer Tower to level 9, this cannon to level 11, I won't talk about the Archer Queen for a second because it's sort of a different ballpark on that case. So yeah, what would you rather have the cannon to level 11, the Archer to level 9, or the Inferno Tower? That's what it's called. The Inferno Tower to level 1. Well, the Inferno Tower is certainly very expensive, but I would say it's much more important than upgrading both of these together. I would rather get one Inferno Tower to level 1 than both of the cannon to level 11 and the Archer Tower to level 10. Or level 9, I guess. Why is that? Well, the thing is, it's more defenses. That means more things shooting, more things for your enemy to attack, harder to destroy your base. Two, by upgrading these guys, it does deactivate them. By building a new Inferno Tower, I mean, it didn't exist before, so it's not like it's deactivating anything. It's not taking anything away from your base currently. And three, well, it's certainly going to be one of the biggest factors in terms of it defending against certain types of units, especially the P.E.K.K.A.s, golems, and dragons. So yes, that is my third reason. Alright, so what I definitely want to talk about next for this base is something that's rather unusual. If you look over here at the army camps, what is going on here? So we have level 5 minions and one level 3 dragon. So yeah, that's interesting. If you come look at this dragon, it is the new dragon animation. They did update all the dragon levels. It's only level 3. However, this is they did go up to level 4, but they updated the graphics on all dragons, so all the dragons changed how they really look. Both their in-game picture and sort of how they animate. But all these minions, this will be really interesting. So let's imagine this minion attack was attacking his own base. So the biggest thing you gotta worry about is going to be the air mines. So air mines will take out minions in no trouble at all because they do splash damage. I guess those might be called air bombs. So the air bombs, because they do splash damage, they're going to take out any minions within their radius. Period. The end. Well, I guess if they're really upgraded, maybe not. But the point is, they're going to do tons and tons of damage that you're going to want to avoid. They're basically the wizard towers of the ground. Of shooting down air things. Of course, wizard towers can shoot down air things too, so you want to be aware of that too. So yeah, if these minions all came in, what you'd want to do is spread them out individually, check for traps on the outside. Might get a couple if you're lucky. That'd be cool. If not, you're going to want to spread them out. Use the dragon to try to soak up the fire. You're going to want to use the minions to soak up air mines, and the dragon to soak up air bombs. Basically, the bombs are best if they target minions, so you want to use a dragon to collect those. The minions are best for air mines because they don't do splash damage, so you want to pick those up on the minions rather than anything else. Very interesting army here, though, because you'll notice when he attacks, cannons will be worthless. Crossbows, if they're set to ground, like these ones are not, they'll be worthless too. Mortars, they'll be worthless. Barbarian King, that will be worthless. Clan Castle, depends on what they have. Generally, they'll be helpful. So in this case, partially helpful. Wizards especially, that would be really good to defend because they would do splash damage. What else would be important? You might think that air defenses might really matter against this army. However, I would say that it'd probably be the wizard towers. Wizard towers, because they deal splash, these would deal with the mass minions much more effectively than the air defenses. While the air defenses can shoot them down in probably 1 to 2 hits, the wizard towers will probably be killing multiple in a couple hits. It'll take more hits, but if you can kill 10 guys at a time, 5 guys at a time, that's going to be more effective on a damage per second basis than the air defenses. Alright, beyond that, sort of suggestions for this base. I love the clan castle being inside. We didn't see that in some of the previous ones. I disagree with the dark elixir storage and the gold storage being in the center. Now, you might want to do this, especially with the dark elixir storage, while you're saving up and right about to do an upgrade. However, because you just started this, I would definitely move this out until you or before you get attacked. Perhaps you're on shield right now and you just started this minutes ago. Hard to tell. I don't know for sure. But yeah, I would say you definitely want to move that out and put in something worthwhile. Because if this gets attacked, of course, they can only steal 5% of this, which is like pretty much nothing. That's like 200 Dark Elixir, a bit more than 200 Dark Elixir. I think it's 250. It's nothing. Don't worry about it. Exactly. Beyond that, yeah, what's going on here? Teslas are really spread out. I'm sort of surprised by that. I'm thinking they might normally go here where these torches are, but I'm not sure. Oh, how did I miss that? Oh, man. That really blended in between the town hall and the torches. Well, dang, scratch out everything I said before, because good, you have an Inferno Tower. You guys were probably all like on the face palming and be like, "Oh, Flammy, he doesn't see it." Yeah, well, I found the Inferno Tower, so good job. I was very surprised not to find that. So yes, it is only level 1 though. You noticed that the other ones we saw were all level 2s. All right, continuing on beyond that. Crossbows, level 3. Both of them are aiming towards the air. Yes, they are. Confirming that. So that's interesting. That's good. I would say upgrade-wise, what is the most important? So if you look here at these stats, it's 24. Remember, the other one was 30, and it's 1,000. The other one was 2,050. Um, Interesting. I would probably say the Inferno Tower is the number one most important because of course, the big units attacking. Number two most important to upgrade is going to be the crossbows. They are just huge damage dealers, and you want to upgrade them. In terms of positioning, I would think you might want to move the crossbows more centralized, one to protect themselves more, as well as to protect other defenses more. Notice how this crossbow, sort of the radius comes all the way out here? Yeah, I would say that probably should be in the center. Bit more. You don't need to cover sort of the Barbarian King and these lesser things as much. Same with this side. It's going to be even more so. It's going to be protecting very worthless gold mines, storages, and collectors out there. No need to worry about that. Perhaps centralize them more. Yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for this space. I mean, with Town Hall 10, you just have so much stuff and so many things to think about. I feel like I can talk for like 10 minutes each. But you know what, guys? I have been recording for 30 minutes already. I'm going to cut out the gaps when I was searching for bases for you guys. But this has already been a long episode, so you know what? I'm going to wrap this up here, and here's where I tell you guys how to apply for a future subscriber base review video. So, I'm planning on switching up how I do this in the future, and how I accept applications. In the past, I've accepted them on Facebook. In the future, I'm going to have a web-based forum for several reasons, and it will be explaining how to do it on there. So look in the description for a link to that. I'll be updating all the descriptions. I'm not sure exactly what web page is going to be on, but the link will be in the description. Or, probably the best way to do it is follow my Facebook, follow my Twitter. I will be announcing on both of those sources when I'm about to start recording, which will give you some couple hours, perhaps, to get in your application and update your application if you submitted on the forum previously and it's now out of date. What that will let me do is pick from bases who are current and up to date, so I know that your base is 1, not attacked, 2, the proper town hall level, 3, you're in the same clan, etc., 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 all these important sort of things. Alright guys, that is going to wrap it up. If you did not get that, follow my Facebook and Twitter if you'd like to be in a future subscriber-based review video. Links to those are in the description. Or you can apply directly. Link for that is in the description as well, and it will be very obvious, probably with capital letters and arrows pointing to it, something very obvious like that. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you did enjoy. If you guys have not subscribed, please do consider subscribing. This is, after all, a subscriber-based review video, so if you're not a subscriber, join in the fun. If you already are a subscriber, thank you very much for watching. This has been a Town Hall 10 subscriber-based review. Not many of you guys are Town Hall 10, but you know what? It's always fun to look at the top guys. I enjoy doing it, and I'm only a Town Hall 8. Sort of get to see what's coming in the future, talk about strategy stuff that even is relevant to you too. So if you are one of those lower Town Hall levels, and you watch this, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. I do try to keep them entertaining and informative for you guys, and educational as well. So you guys can show your support by liking, commenting, and favoriting this video if you do not mind. And if you do mind, that's fine. You don't have to, but I do appreciate it if you do. Alright, thank you guys very much for watching. To wrap it up, have a great day, and clash on.